I think there's all kinds of different ways that you can frame it, you know? I mean, sometimes I think that it's really about the rejection of a disposable culture. You know, we have a culture that treats everything and everyone like garbage, you know, disposes of people's pensions, of their security, of their jobs, of their futures, of the planet itself, you know, and this is, we live in a culture that acts as if the future will never come. So, you know, this is the sort of paradigm shift that we need. I mean, we need a culture that acts as if the future will come, and that we will live with the mistakes that we make. And so we can't trash people. we can't dispose of people, and we can't dispose of treat our planet as if it's disposable either. In some ways, I think. I think people are tired of getting shocked. I think people are tired of this disaster-prone system that we've built. You know, we go from economic shock to economic shock. We go from natural disaster to natural disaster, accident to accident. And there's something about building a durable society, you know, that I think is very appealing to people who, you know, when I come to Europe, I really feel people are traumatized by these years of shocks, you know. And there's a group that I've done some work with that I've really been influenced by in California called Movement Generation. And they have this presentation they do. It's called Shocks, Slides, and Shifts. So a shock is, you know, something sudden that happens, an economic crash, a bubble burst, a big disaster. A slide is the slow grind of a crisis, a slow motion crisis like climate change. And the shift is what we want, is the change that we want. So they say that our job is to harness the shocks and the slides to get the shift that we want. I think that between now and the UN summit in Paris, what social movements need to be doing around the world, but particularly in Europe, is figuring out what are the top 5 points of that shift that bring us together, that bring these movements together. What are the demands? And it should be simple enough to fit on a postcard. We've been starting to talk about this a little bit in North America, and you know, we want 100% of our power coming from decentralized renewable energy. You know, we want public transit accessible to all and free. We want the polluters to pay for the transition, and we want to leave the carbon in the ground. You know, we want to, or under the ocean. You asked me about change, and I gave a long answer, but I think maybe a short answer is that we need a shift from a culture of death to a culture of life. This word life has been abused by the anti-abortion movement, but it's an important word. And we have been powering our economies with death for a long time, and we've been upsetting the balance of the elements. And we need to shift to a culture that is built on the amplification of life. The source of all life is the sun. And you know, I think there are not only metaphors. That I think that a culture powered by digging up the dead is not a healthy culture. And a culture that is powered by life is going to be a healthier culture. So there's a shorter version. I think it's really the key question. You know, what is our economy for? What is the goal of it? I mean, we have a system now where the goal is growth, which is sometimes conflated with the idea of progress. But if we started from another premise that our goal is to have an economic system that protects life on Earth, that's its goal, and enhances the quality of that life, you would organize things completely differently. You would have progress, a huge amount of progress, which is why I don't like the discourse of degrowth, because I think that it sounds to people like going backwards, and it sounds like everything's contracting. But that's not true. We can protect life at the same time as we expand. In fact, we need to expand huge parts of our activities, the caregiving professions. We need to expand massively our education system. We can expand what we invest in the arts. These are parts of our economy that are already low carbon. And so that core question of what is this for? What do we mean by progress? Then allows us to be strategic, to contract that which is at war with life and expand the parts of our economy that amplify life.